What's up, guys? Sean, Mike,
What's up?
What's up, PJ?
man, so much buzz around the Star Wars statue community in terms of the Mythos, the newly announced Mythos Vader by Sideshow, and yeah, we're gonna talk about it and figure out if it's a do it or not. So let's do this.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What's up, guys? It's your boy PJ, the Paradox Nerd, alongside my co-hosts for Sithcast, a Star Wars podcast where we pretty much talk anything, everything Star Wars. I gathered the Sith Council members to talk about this great Sith of a statue, and that is the newly announced Sideshow Darth Vader Mythos statue. And man, I didn't think this statue, this epic piece, would cause so much talk and so much controversy around the statue community. But you know what? Being a Star Wars fan and a statue collector, it's no surprise, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Oh man. Let's actually just jump right into it, man. Sean, I know you're on the lookout for a Mythos Darth Vader statue to add to your collection.
Yeah.
Now, does this piece speak to you for you to pick up?
I think this is a really cool piece. And then when they did the new head sculpt was a game changer.
Mhm.
Those are absolutely gorgeous. I love his uniform, the battle damaged effect.
Mhm.
I love the pose. The only thing for me that it doesn't like turn me off from the statue. I wouldn't 100% say, oh, I don't want to get that,
Mhm.
But with that being said, I'm not a statue collector and I have very little real estate. So I do have to be picky.
Mhm.
But I really like this statue. I think the only thing that bugs me is probably the cape, and it could grow on me,
Mhm.
But everything else on this thing is great. I mean, his uniform, his battle damage uniform is it looks so good.
Yeah.
And I wish they would do a light up saber. That would be nice.
Yeah, well,
and then
we have resources. We do know a saber doctor that we could definitely point you out to get this lit up. So
go ahead and get it lit.
yeah.
But I do like it. Like I said, the only negative for me, just me, it's my personal opinion. Like you said, art is subjective, and then that cape might take up a lot of real estate. Like I said, I don't have a lot of room.
Mhm.
And then, people talk about the Mythos Vader statue, and then to me, you can't compare that one to this one because they basically, they have I say it has two different themes, and what I mean is like the Mythos, the OG Mythos is called contemplation. So he looks like he's in anguish. He's thinking about probably what he did with Padme and why he turned to the dark side. To me, that statue speaks more to me because of just his anguish. Like I said, it's art. So when you look at art on a wall, it's going to read different to everybody else. To me, I do like the OG one, but this would, if you gave me this, I would take it in a heartbeat. Don't get me wrong. Like it's got some great aspects to it, But I think what people have to realize, it's art. It's got to be subjective, and then it kind of got a lot of hate 3 weeks ago when, they first showed the initial photograph of it. And I think I said on Sithcast was like, give it time. We've got to see some different angles on it. We haven't even seen the back of it. And then I think you even said, what if they did, the battle damaged helmet, and then look what we've got. We've got 3 head sculpts now. I mean, that's huge. I mean, like I said, the outfit's great. I don't mind him standing on the X-Wings engine. I know a lot of people give it flack, but it is Mythos. So you don't know, we don't know what the story is behind this. It's just, how you read into it. It's subjective. It's like when you look at this, what does it say to you?
Yeah.
But it's a great statue though. Like I said, the cape's the only thing that, in my opinion, it's like that's the only thing I'm kind of turned off by. But 98% of the statue is good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, when we are statue collectors, yeah, it's great that we could pretty much pick up most of the statues that we want to pick up, but real estate has always been a factor
Yeah.
for any collector.
Yeah.
So no, I totally understand your concerns with the cape. It does take up a lot of real estate, and it's just one of those things you kind of have to figure out, because you could get the statue, and if you don't have the real estate, it's just going to be sitting in a box or on the floor.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you would want for this piece. It deserves a place in your collection if you really, really like it that much. All right, so let's go to Mike, man. Let's get your thoughts on this piece. Actually, real quick. Sean, is this a do it or not for you?
Can I say it's a maybe do it?
Oh yeah. You can say.
Yeah.
So it won't be like. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And the only reason I say it, because, this thing's probably not going to be released. I mean, Sideshow's got a January 2023 date on it, and it could release earlier, which a lot of things have been, but I'm just thinking, and, like I said, real estate and being super picky, because I'm not a statue collector. I only own 2 statues. So being super picky, there might be another statue that might be released throughout the year that I might like better, but this is definitely not one that I would, mark off my list. Like, oh, I'm not going to get this. I mean, this thing's fantastic. I mean, look at that the unmasked sculpt looks good. Yeah. Like, it's good. So it's a maybe do it. It's on the list. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go to Mike. Mike, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So first of all, it's definitely a do it. 100%. And even even if it didn't come with these extra head sculpts, it's Vader, and I'm a Vader collector primarily, so and it's an interesting take on Vader. But this was a super awesome surprise the other day in the middle of work. I get a message from Cece, who's a friend of Sithcast, and she's like, check this out. And I looked at the link and just totally blown away. Well, we only had 2 views before, and everyone was judging this on 2 single images of a very 3-dimensional, very artistic piece. And so first thing that caught my eye was obviously the unmasked, which I was super excited about, and then the battle damage exclusive, which it's the opposite side of Rebels, but it's still, you get like the Anakin portrait that you're seeing. And it's absolutely beautiful. The other thing that I would kind of that I actually liked a lot, and I know this is maybe somewhat controversial, but was the flaming saber. And all jokes aside, I think it's actually pretty cool, because you can almost imagine that he just literally sliced the engine off, or the wing off this X-wing.
Oh my gosh!
And
Thank you.
And this, and the saber is still, because fire. You don't just magically slice through something, and you don't pick up some of the heat, but it's like lit up because it just made the cut, and the fire is like coming off. And so there's an easy justification for that. Also looking at some of these, these more zoomed in pictures, at first I was kind of apprehensive about the fire in front of the engine on the bottom, but then I really like the paint application of how the engine is just slightly tinted yellow orange there. So like it almost looks like the orange, the fire is actually lit up, even though it's not a light up function.
Yeah.
The other cool thing is when they zoomed in on the arms on some of these pictures, you can see where his arm was cut off by Obi-Wan, and then the mechanical portion, you could see some of the wires and the mechanics of the battle damaged arm holding the lightsaber, and that's phenomenal right there. That is so cool. The details are incredible. I really like the damage, kind of like shoulder pauldron armor on the right hand side, and just getting to see these little bits of details that we couldn't see before. It's just, to me, it's a home run. The cape, I totally get what Sean's saying, and I understand that. I guess the good thing about this is it's 1/5 and not 1/4, so hopefully it shouldn't be too overwhelming. The cool thing about the Boba original Boba Mythos is that he's a 1/5, but he pairs really well together with 1/4. It's probably going to be something really similar with this guy here. So he'll probably end up, he's 24 inches, which is, that's about, a decent size 1/4.
Yeah.
All in all, the other cool thing, that we talked about before we started was the pairing with the Emperor. So a lot of people dumped on the Emperor and, I don't like the pose. I don't like the Mary Poppins. I don't like the mixed media. Okay, yeah, it's Mythos. We're not supposed to have mixed media, but no one ever wrote that down. It's not a rule unless I don't know something. But I think the two of them pair together, awesome, even better than the Emperor and the OG Vader. So as someone who owns the OG Vader, and I just based off these pictures, I know things will change when we get this in hand. I kind of like this one a little bit better, and that's the first time I'm saying that publicly. I love the OG Vader. It's probably one of my favorite statues, period. But this is a different story. I'm not comparing them. They're two totally separate things. If you own the OG, good for you. If you don't own the OG, I wouldn't go around saying that, oh, this is superior, yada, yada, yada. They're not. They're two totally different things, okay? So I'm going to get both. I love both. I have no plans on selling the OG. I think if you have the OG, I would not plan on selling it because I think the value of that, not that we collect for value, but the value of that's probably going to go up just because of this one. And just everyone loves Vader. So the interesting thing about this is, Sideshow and the Kacheriks and all of them have a plan and we don't know what that plan is. We're not privy to it as the public, but this kind of has me looking at the Obi-Wan and the Anakin again, because I kind of did a soft pass on those, but I wonder if there's plans for more Mythos Clone Wars-esque Jedi. So, would I be foolish to pass on these? I'm just speaking out loud. I'm just,
Yeah, please. It's an open forum here, man. So
because I'd feel really foolish if I pass on, those two, and then all of a sudden there's in Mythos Mace Windu, Kacherik. There's a Mythos, Kit Fisto, or something. I don't know how deep they'll go, but I mean, it's not like you can just keep creating. This is the first Mythos Vader in what 10 years. So we're not going to get another one for another decade. Maybe they have to do something in between. So you can't go wrong with Mythos. They're one of the only statues that have in the Star Wars line that easily triple, quadruple in value. Everyone wants them. What's the worst that's going to happen? You get it, you don't like it, you sell it to a fellow collector, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I guess my only question here is, why did they do the collector edition? I don't know if they're going to cap the exclusive, but I can't imagine for how much more is it? $20?
$20
for the flame, for the saber, and for that battle damage head sculpt. I mean, you gotta be out of your mind to pass on that for $20. I mean, that's like 2 Starbucks. So I've said my piece.
Oh man, it's like a coffee and sausage, egg, and cheese or something. And then
there you go. Yeah.
But dude, great points, man. Superior, great points, both of you. I love it just because it's like that's one thing about art, right? It's like we get to look at it and give our opinions, and you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Everything's interpreted differently. That's one thing too. It's like when we think of Star Wars too, like everyone has their own interpretation of Star Wars, of when they first watched it, like which characters are more meaningful to them. Vader is numero uno, and you're combining it with Hayden Christensen's portrait, Anakin. Like dude, this is a day one for me. And my great point with because I know, and Thor, we love you. I know Thor had some concern. Thor from Dark Castle, he had some concerns about the flaming lightsaber, and I'm glad that you pointed it out, because I know some people were getting really technical with the science of it. We're talking about Star Wars. Really, there's really no science involved. I mean, we had The Last Jedi when they were throwing those magnetic balls down into space, and it was falling down, and it's just, what I'm saying? There's no gravity. Physics
is out the window.
Yeah,
exactly.
Leia can breathe in space.
Yeah,
you know.
we got things like that. Like, you know, some people
Yeah.
can overlook him, but you know, it's a great point because that's what I was thinking. Like, he probably sliced off something, and when he sliced off like the turbine or the engine, he probably caught it. Like, you know, quite a you know, he's almost in that motion of capturing all that fire in his
Yes.
lightsaber. It's not like
Yes.
he was cutting through like just metal. You know,
Yes.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
thing is, if you don't like it, you can swap it out for the regular one. So
That's true.
yeah.
it's a win-win. Like,
Exactly. It is a win-win.
It's a captured moment in time. It's like you have a super high shutter speed and you caught it. That's
Mhm.
it. Okay, that's it. And again, I mean, it has the regular Mythos saber, which is, you know, some people like, some people don't. I
Mhm.
like that it's like that deeper red. That is nice.
Yeah.
You know, so it glows. But even this is cool. Look at the battle damage from the turbine and
Mhm.
kind of like the stone that it like landed on. This
Yeah.
is really highly detailed. And now that we know who did this, it makes sense. I mean, look at Maul, look
A
at
legend.
yeah. Look at Asajj. I mean, God, details are incredible.
Mhm.
And everyone loves those statues.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about Kucharik brothers. They've been around the game for so long.
Mhm.
You know, they did a lot of really amazing pieces, and they know they know how to sculpt. It's not like you get a new sculptor into like the game here. This is like a legend sculpting this piece. And you know, it's just, I understand people are very, you know, they're pushing back on this piece just because whether they have the OG Vader, which we all like, I do, and Mike does have the OG Vader, and we still like this piece, you know, and that OG Vader is telling a different story. Like Sean said, it is
Mhm.
contemplation. His around Mustafar, like
Mhm.
looking at all his helmets and figuring out like what he has done to go to
Mhm.
the dark side. It's almost like he like took himself out as Vader and just start looking at the Vader helmet as Anakin and just
Yep.
realizing you feel that pain and that torture in that statue. It's a totally different story. I know some people are like, you know, I said in my previous video that this is, you know, when are we going to get like this Vader right here, this new Mythos Vader is the first time we're getting a battle damaged Vader. Like,
Mhm.
when I say battle damage, I'm referring to like this is literally like he's fresh off a battle and he's got all
Yes.
these like
Yeah.
torn pieces. And then some people are saying like, you know, oh, the OG Vader, you know, has some, you know, has battle damage. To me, they're damage and weathering from the, you know, when the lava spits out, like, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called, like the whatever, and
Yeah.
they hit the, you know, they're saying
The chest box.
the
yeah.
burn
chest,
mark.
and they burn it, and they some of it could be clumps and just kind of like roll down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever see like lava hitting metal and kind of like melting down downwards?
Oh yeah. That's what
You
it looks
know?
like too. The way it's been
That's what it looks like.
sculpted.
And I said that with, you know, with respect, especially because if you look at his shin guards, it also has that same effect, but there's like a melted clump on his
Yes.
shin guards, on his right shin guard.
Mhm.
And you know, it's great too. Like, if that person interprets Vader that way, and it's okay. We're both not wrong. And that's the thing too. I've seen a lot of like controversy with people saying, "Well, my OG Vader is better than this one." Well, you're just gonna trigger a whole bunch of people, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's just different. It is. It
Yeah.
is two different statues.
Yeah, and also it's vice versa. Like, you got the new collectors picking up this piece. You know, and when I say new collectors, there are people who don't really collect Star Wars picking up these pieces, saying
Yeah.
this is this is better than the OG, and it's just triggering. You know, it's like we're all triggering each other. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's almost like we kind of have to like take the toxicity out of this collecting
Mhm.
world right now and say, you know what, they're two different pieces, two different stories. Let's just be happy we're getting,
Yes.
you know, Star Wars
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah.
You know,
And
You
then
know,
don't bash it. You know, I try to tell people
Mhm.
not to like bash things too bad. I mean, you're allowed to have your own opinion, but there's always someone out there that
Mhm.
likes it. And you
Yeah.
know, if they watch your show or they follow a certain Facebook group, it's like those people, maybe they like it. And then if you start bashing it so bad, are they going to feel like, oh, do I have bad taste? Or, it's
Yeah.
like you said, all this stuff is subjective. We're allowed to have our own opinions,
Mhm.
and we're allowed to speak them, but you don't have to do it in a negative way,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I saw a quote actually on Instagram. I know Instagram stories. Like I was flipping through, and then it said there was one quote that caught me and hit me, like a ton of bricks. And it was like, if it makes you happy, it doesn't have to make sense to others. I think that is the best advice to anybody in collecting or in general, actually, in life. If I get this piece, I don't have to listen to others. If it doesn't make sense to others, whether it be the flaming lightsaber effect or anything else, it's okay. I'm happy with it. And that's all that
Yep.
matters. If
Yep.
I collect X-Men, Star Wars, Marvel, all these different types of pieces, who said I'm supposed to just stick to Star Wars? It's okay
Exactly.
for me. If it makes me happy, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else.
Yep.
Mhm.
We got to respect people and their properties and their opinions, and I just think that there's a lot of stuff lacking. But anyway, getting back to the statue, this is a do it for me. I think this piece is perfectly timed to be
Mhm.
announced right before Kenobi.
Yes.
Mind you, we are
Yeah.
getting
Man,
Hayden.
that sculpt's good.
Yes, mind you, we're getting Hayden Christensen back, and he's
Mhm.
supposed to fight Kenobi.
Yep.
Now imagine he looks close to what this statue looks like,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Oh
It
yeah.
does.
Game over.
Game effing over.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why they brought like Hayden Christensen back. There's been some leaks of him kind of like without his mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Sideshow knows what they're doing. They want to get people's
Yep.
money. I'm sorry, they're a
Yep.
business. It's a fact. If we deny that, then and it's just it is what it is. But yeah, and then we get this battle damage one, and this is
Mhm.
like close to the Rebels version. Remember when Ahsoka
Yep.
fought?
Yes.
Oh,
World
Mhm.
between worlds. Yeah.
we are
And
getting
even
it. Yeah, sorry.
even if he's not like this in Kenobi, I mean, think about all the canon stuff that's out there and non-canon. The book, The Lords of the Sith, the
Mhm.
picture of him and the Emperor together.
Mhm.
For anyone who's read that book, they know it's basically about very early on in Vader's career. The Emperor and Vader get kind of stranded on this world, and they have to prove themselves. The Emperor can't use the Force, so Vader is basically like his dog. And Vader has very little resources and has to do all this stuff. And he ends up like, this is how I see him in the book. But I mean, just in the comics, in the most recent Vader comics, I mean, he gets tore up like this. So you don't even have to read, just look at the comics. So it's two different things. And so when as a collecting, a Vader collector, or just collector in general, okay, I only can have one. Okay, well, they're kind of different. I see Dark Contemplations as like maybe immediately post Revenge of the Sith. This one looks like it's somewhere in the middle, maybe Kenobi era, like 10 years later, 9 years later. Maybe the era of Lords of the Sith. I mean, this is cool. I think you'd be sad to pass on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, PJ, you might have to give me a do it, because I'm telling you, the more I look at this, I'm
The
serious.
more you talk about it.
No, but seriously, like I'm focused in on his battle damaged uniform, like exposed arms, and then when you go back to the ones with the sculpt right there.
Oh yeah, look at that
Like
exclusive sculpt.
But like I said, like 98% of this, and I'm talking visually for myself, my opinion, 98% of it's good. The only thing I'm thrown off is by the cape. But with that being said, I think once this is in hand, you're going to be so enamored by everything else, the cape is going to be irrelevant.
It is, because you know what? Again, what happens if they did a regular mixed media cape? Then people are gonna be like, oh, and then it's just like this is like, dude, like look. I mean, this is similar to Asajj Ventress, like how her like cape was flowing. Like, dude, like this is
and
the
you know what's good about this one too? What I just noticed, the cape and the fire are blowing in the same direction. Thank you.
Finally, I was about to say that. And if I had to critique this piece, like and have any gripes on this piece, it would probably be maybe the flames and not having a lightsaber light up feature. Minor gripes. Seriously, I think this is a masterpiece. I think this is gonna please a lot of like Vader collectors out there. I'm getting the premium format and this. I just think that now, like Vader's my number one character. I have a strong emotional connection to Vader. You could feel his, because it's one of those things like he was supposed to be like the number one Jedi and stuff, and he has fallen from grace and become a Sith Lord. And dude, it's amazing. This is a great piece, and this is a do it for me. It sounds like it's a do it for Sean.
I think so. And Mike made a good point too. Like you get it, and if it doesn't fit in your room the right way, or just it's not as good as you think it is, you can just sell it.
Yeah,
and it's going to be someone that you might not sell it and make a huge profit, but if you just want to get rid of it, but you might not want to miss out on this one too.
Yeah, you'd be surprised too, right? People are like, "Oh, the edition size might be huge." Well, the OG Mythos Vader was 5,000 pieces.
5,000.
5,000
anymore.
5,000.
Now that thing's $2,000.
You can't find it.
No,
I was looking today, to be honest, on the Mythos, the OG Mythos Vader, and I think there's one in there for like 1,500, and I'm like, still a little high, especially.
Yeah.
Dude, I say, I know that's a totally different piece, but if you don't want to like shell out the extra cash, man, I think this is
but
like
I said with the January 2023, even if it comes out in August, put it on a payment plan now and just go ahead and start it early. It'll be paid off, and you won't even really notice it.
Yeah,
that's another thing that's kind of leaning me toward getting it, is that I can put it on a payment plan, and then I just keep getting drawn to the suit right now as you keep flipping through these pictures.
Okay, you know what? I say wait till Kenobi. See how the Kenobi show plays out, and if you see Vader kicking ass,
I don't even think that this is, now the more we look at it, and
I just think that like I think Sideshow knew what they were doing with announcing this a couple months before. I wouldn't say a couple months, like 4 months before Kenobi's show is coming out, which is supposed to be rumored to be releasing on May the 4th, which is a Wednesday. So
yes,
nice.
Guys, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. We're getting so many Star Wars pieces, and I think as Star Wars fans, as Star Wars collectors, let's just be happy. We're getting all these pieces. If this Vader is not for you, it's okay. Just
don't buy it.
Don't buy it. It's okay. Let others enjoy it. You don't have to rain on their parade just because you're not getting it. That's just my opinion. This is a do it for me. I think this is a must have in my collection. If they make 20,000 of these pieces, I'm still gonna get it. Like it just this piece speaks to me, and I'm just really happy that we're getting it. I'm so happy that the Kuchar brothers are doing more Star Wars pieces, and hopefully they do more Mythos pieces. Hopefully we get another Mythos Boba. That'd be sick. And just more awesome Mythos stuff, more Star Wars pieces, So all right, guys, thank you to Sean and Mike from Sithcast, my co-host from Sithcast. This is a lot of fun. I feel like we could probably talk about an hour talk about this piece. We're probably going to dive into it next week on the Sithcast podcast. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Sean, you want to say something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. We could talk. We're probably going to talk about it again on Wednesday.
So if you guys love Star Wars as much as we do, please tune into Sithcast podcast, which is we stream every Wednesday night, and we talk about Star Wars collectibles and Star Wars. So thank you to my fellow co-hosts from there, Sean and Mike. And that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching, and always remember to do what you love and love what you collect, and have a good night. Take care, everyone.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.